Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name is Tony. This is the 15-Minute Gamer, and today we're taking a look at the Mons Ultimate. Now, I want to start off this whole thing by saying it's always hard to review or give your impressions of an early access game. But in my eyes, there is a difference between saying something is early access and it actually being early access. Now, what I mean by that is an early access game, in my eyes, should just not have that title slapped on it when it's clearly missing content, not good enough, and full of bugs to try and deflect that criticism. And also when you do that, it brings out a lot of the fans going, well, it's early access, what do you expect? As an almost defense to the product not being good enough. And I've already seen that on quite a few comments on the reviews for this game already. And also what that means is now the developers have released this under an early access banner. They spend all their time fixing the multitude of issues and defending the game rather than adding the promised content and development slows right down. You see this so much in the indie gaming scene. And I would guess by the end of the week, there will be a sorry thumbnail in some sort of bright colour on social media saying how sorry they are for releasing this game in this state. And then an apology. And I can almost guarantee we'll see that. I had a sneaking suspicion this was going to be the case for this game when they announced not so long ago it was dropping into early access. Also bear in mind, saying all that, these are my first impressions. And I know it's only $24.99, but making a first impression count is quite important. But as always, before we start, if you enjoyed this video, drop it a like. Comment below. I would like to know your sort of viewpoint on early access. Do you have the same sort of viewpoint as me? I play hundreds of games, so I do get involved with a lot of early access games. But yeah, let me know any comments below. Keep it civilized as always, and subscribe for more content. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the game and see what you get for your money. Now, this is the welcome screen. So you get a race weekend. That is the only game mode in the game. You can play it online. You can set your profile up. You can go to settings or credits. Just to take you into the settings menu, this is how it looks. You get a decent amount of help on there. You can see you can change the AI strength, aggression, AI limiter. You've got your controls, which were set up fine for my Fanatec. I had no issues with this. You've got your graphics. So you can see there, I've got mine mainly on high. As you can see, a few on there. And then sound. So you can see what you get there, what you can change and stuff like that. That's all for the settings. Game mode wise, as I said, you only get the one game mode, which is the race weekend. Included in that is the practice, the qualifying, and then the race itself. You get 7 tracks, you get Sebring, you get the Algarve International Circuit, Spa, you get the 24 hours of course, Monza, you get the Fuji Speedway, and Bahrain as well. Car class wise, you get the hypercars, the P2s, and the GTEs. So the hypercars, these are all the manufacturers you get. I mean, look at that logo, it's things like that. I mean, come on. Ferrari, you get that one. You get the Peugeot, the Porsche, Toyota, and the Van Wall. And then you scroll along, and obviously you can see all the different designs on that. It's functional UI. I wouldn't say it's a good UI though. I think once you click on it, you should just get a drop down of what car you want. So that is them. So if we go back to car class, you get the P2 LMPs. This one you get way more on. But again, because they're all the same. But again, you're scrolling through. They should be down, up menu or something. It just doesn't quite work like that in my eyes. Back again. And we'll look at the GTEs. So you get Aston Martins. You get Corvette. You get Ferrari. And you get Porsche. And again, just scroll left and right through your options. With the event settings, you can go through practice. You can go qualifying. You can go race. You can also take out the classes. If you just want a GTE race, you can just have a GT race. You can also set down here, it tells you how long the event's going to take in total, 1 hour plus 24 minutes. The rules, tire wear, and fuel usage. You can go advanced options. You can also set different things for the practice, the qualifying, and the race. So you can set the start time, finish time. You can set the weather. So you can have up to 5. So you can see there's all the things. So you can have overcast and storm. You can set the rain, how it's going to do. You can pick defaults. Or you can change it as you go. So you can see there. So 52, you can do each one for each setting. And there's the advanced settings, so how fast the time is going to scale. Do you put full flag, rules on, track limits, mechanical failures, AI aggression, that sort of thing. And that is what you get for your money. There's nothing else in there. You can't just do a practice session. You can't just do qualifying. And you can knock it out like this, but I don't understand why it's not all separate. Online, I have not tried yet, but these are the things in here. So you get beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and that'll be dictated by how your safety rating and stuff goes on there. And there's a schedule of all the times and stuff the races are taking place. You can see there. So it takes, every hour and a half. Now you also have weekly races in there and special events. So that's what you get online. I've not tried online yet. I will do a separate video for that when I give it a go. Now what I'm going to do is play some footage in the background where we cover the positives and the negatives of this game. So let's start off with the positives. The sound design is pretty good. However, I would like to see more track noise, as in the crowd, announcers, that sort of thing. And the crash noise is really unimpactful. Like you hit a car doing 200 miles an hour and it makes like a little clunk noise. It just doesn't quite have that impactive feel, but I will say the cars sound all differently. They sound really, really good. You got the squeaking of the brakes when you brake and stuff, and I think it's very, very good. You also have like kind of an engineer spotter, not a spotter as such, but I'd say more engineer who gives you lap time and that sort of thing. I wouldn't say it's great, but that is functional. The tracks seem pretty well made, so this is kind of moving into the graphics side of things. They've got nice touches. They look good. And I say this about a lot of racing games, but the place doesn't really seem alive. But it does look good. The cars have had so much attention put into them. They can look really good. And the graphics overall, I wouldn't say they're mind-blowing, even on high settings, but they're pretty decent. I did like the way, as we discussed before, you can control the weather. I think that's a really good feature. And finally, the UI is functional. It works. However, I would say there's some little nuances, like you saw the Cadillac badge before, and also the delta race time on the UI in-game only goes up to plus or negative 9.99 seconds. So if you're 10 seconds ahead of your time, you don't know. It just stops, and I think that's a little bit rubbish. But the rest of the UI is pretty functional within the game. However, I think that's about it for the positives. So let's move into the negatives. First off, bugs. I had 3 crashes to the desktop when loading up a track, which is super annoying, as it takes about 3 to 4 minutes to load up on an SSD, which is ridiculous. The performance is horrible, especially at nighttime at Le Mans. I was down to maybe 10, 20 frames per second at Le Mans at night at the beginning, and that's on a 3080 with 48 gigabytes of RAM on an i7. It's not good enough. The AI is painfully stupid, like ranging from driving terrible, sticking to the racing line no matter what. They're knocking each other off, they're spinning, they'll crash into you. They get stuck in packs as well and just drive around so slow. I went to do a wet race and all the AI put themselves on medium dry tires. I was lapping them within 3 laps. Also, it didn't put me on wet tires. I had to put myself on wet tires. There's very little intelligence there. And some of the way they were driving around the corners was just ridiculous. And if you skip qualification, you'll find like the GT, like the lower class cars in first in front of hypercars. Like it just makes no sense at all. And they were staying there throughout the race. There's a total lack of game modes, as we covered. There's a race weekend. That is it. Physics aren't very good. I mean, I would expect that from a 397 game, but I was hoping this would be a little bit better. Force feedback is awful. I really can't describe it, but it doesn't feel very good at all. And it changes dramatically from nothing to almost breaking your arm. I have an 8 Newton meter wheel Fanatec, And sometimes some of the noises my rig was making, I've not heard that on any other sim game. But then sometimes you couldn't feel a single thing at all. It really needs improvement. However, I will say it did recognize the wheel and it worked fine. So I will say there was no setup there. Just another thing to point out, you can't decide how long a race is. It's all predetermined. So say I want to go Le Mans, I can do a 15-minute practice, 30 or an hour, or up to 2 hours. Race, I can do a minimum of a 1 hour 12, 6 hour, 12 hour, 18 or 24. I'm not going to do any of them. I'm not going to do 6 hours. This, to me, should be settable by what you want, not what the game's telling you. And if we look at Monza, you go from 18 minutes to an hour 30. Where's the in-between? Like, I've maybe got half an hour. So basically, I can only do an 8. Yeah, I don't like that. That needs changed immediately to be whatever you want it to be. So yeah, overall, because I told him this video gone for ages, as much as I think this game might have potential and it could turn into something good, as of right now, I cannot recommend it. It's not good enough. I would much rather play Ultimate Blister 2 with the Le Mans pack. I know brand new, that's £50 if you get both, but you get one of the best sim games out there with a boatload of content. And with that track, you get 4 GT3 cars, which are Gen 2. You also get 3 hypercars. And on top of that, you get the amazing looking Le Mans 24-hour track, along with the shorter Bugatti layout, which both looks incredible in day and night and runs amazing as well. And if you already have Ultimate Blister 2, it's £16 for the both of them DLCs. And it's way, way better than this game, which is dedicated to it. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave that there. I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.